All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music and some other stuff on this particular video. Not actually music. Thoughts about my channel and where I should go and what I should do at this stage, and doing it in real time for a few real people out there, like 1 out of every 68, just like you and just like me. All right, here is Zelbo. Been promoting this. If you're on the Patreon page of this channel, you know that I've been plugging this and people are buying it. They're liking it. In My Dreams, it's progressive, it's melodic, it's pop, it's rock. Very listenable collection of songs, very diverse, but somewhat cohesive. And again, if you missed the boat on Zelbo, I did too. Came out a couple of years ago. So plugging it. This is what the band looks like on the back cover. There they are. In My Dreams by Zelbo. Also, don't forget, Modern Retro Radio, modernretrofm.com. They did an indie artists weekend last weekend, and they played the Prowlers. I've had them on my show. And yes, you can hear voiceover work by yours truly. Very scary to hear yourself sitting on the couch and then you come on the radio. It's a little bit jarring. It's a little bit disconcerting. But overall, it wasn't a bad experience. I'm back on the radio, so that's a cool thing. Now, in recent days, I'm starting to get even more, I guess, indifferent about the music scene right now. At least the stuff that I care about. People will send me articles about country artists, and I'm like, yeah, that's interesting, but I don't think that's really my audience. I enjoy country music, especially the 90s stuff. And I like some of these new bands from West Texas, and I've even had some of that on the show. I had this band called Kinfo. They were really fun, interesting people, and they've got some good material out there. And there are many more like that, but I don't know if anybody cares. And right now, you know, I'm checking out YouTube a lot and seeing that somebody who does content that's 40 years old, like, you know, Steve Perry used to have this girlfriend named Sherry. And the video's got like 100,000 views. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I mean, that's super old news. I mean, maybe the presentation is better. Maybe you write out bullet points and you get it out there quickly. I don't know. I tend to be a little bit more like, okay, let's examine the Journey lawsuit between Kane and Sean. Let's look at the fact that Journey, on their last tour, used negative publicity to generate ticket sales, which I did that video yesterday. Nobody really cared about that. But I did this video about this girl, 20 years old, had nothing to do with music. She was a soccer player, and she just died suddenly and unexplained and very bizarre. And I did a video about that because I'm wondering why there isn't a real deep investigation by the media industrial complex. Now, there's an answer to that, but before I get to that answer, well, let me just say, their advertising budget obviously would be at risk because they depend on ad revenue from a company or several companies maybe who are you know, providing these safe and effective products for everybody to go out and use. And if they were to find out something about those safe and effective products, then they might not be able to survive, because you can even turn on any mainstream news channel or network, especially during the evening. But I think these ads run all day, but at nighttime it seems brutal. And they tell you, if you've got this problem, then you take this and you'll have all of these side effects. And they tell you what the side effects are during the commercial. By the time you get to the end of it, you're like, why would you risk death? This may cause death. Okay, well, I don't want that product. But it may cure your arthritis a little bit. It may, like, alleviate some symptom that you have. And it's really scary. So anyway, I wasn't going to just go into that, but I decided to because I was making that connection. But it's just bizarre. So anyway, getting back to the 20-year-old girl, so that video did really well for me based on what I normally do. I think it's close to 5K. I don't always follow. I mean, these are like, the videos are like little kids. You send them out and you hope that they do great things. And some of them don't do anything. And others surprise you like, wow, I didn't think anyone cared about Billy Squier anymore. That's interesting, you know? Or Journey's big concert in Utah. Some will say, hey, you used a little clickbait there. Well, everybody is using clickbait. And they try to find the most interesting combination of words, and the fewest words, by the way, possible. You know, like singer dies, okay? That's going to be a big video for whatever reason, because it's easy. Nobody has to read into it. If you make your video title a sentence, they're all like, yeah, I stopped on the fifth word. It's too much reading for me to do, man. What do you want? You know, that's too long of a title. And people tell me that. You need to shorten your titles. You need to shorten your videos. Come on, quick, do some editing. Come on, hurry up, get going here. And I'm just like, yeah, no, I just kind of talk. I guess when I worked at the classic rock station and they told me to ad lib, I actually ad libbed. I would talk about stuff, you know, during the song, after the song, and before the song. And the guys over at Modern Retro FM, they do that too. They're front selling, they're back selling, they're selling whenever they can, and they're providing information about the music, which I think why a lot of people will pay for satellite radio now, because they have people over there that will actually talk about the artists they're playing. And so, I don't know, now I'm totally off track, but what I'm trying to say is the future of what I do might evolve into something that's less music oriented and more just current events and topics that I just feel I could talk about and I would add to the conversation. And it's something important and relevant. There's not a lot going on in the world of classic rock. We know that there are many farewell tours happening right now, and that's going to continue until all these bands are done. And it's a shame, but this is the era we've lived through. We've lived through the greatest period for rock music, for melodic rock, for soft rock, whatever you want to call that format, yacht rock. We've lived through the best of that. And yeah, there are people out there like this, and they're creating music, and it's cool, and I like to talk about it. But quite honestly, there is a big majority of people that don't care. And they've told me, they've said, you know, Dave, there was one guy who said to me, can you stop doing that thing at the beginning of your videos where you feature a CD and just get to the point? I mean, I like your content, but nobody cares about some band from Sweden. And and that just hit me hard. I was like, wow, okay. But I kept doing it anyway. I just, somebody would point up a new band out to me, or I would listen to it and I go, people need to know about this band. I'd take it personally. I'm like, I don't know. If I don't tell them about it, who's gonna tell them about it? So it became my own mission, my own crusade to try to keep melodic rock, in view. Even if I just mention the CD, you can go listen to it. And then, if I don't do a good job describing what it is, you can listen to it and then go, oh yeah, he missed this part and that part. To say it's good. Hey, Zelbo, it's good. Go listen to Zelbo. But honestly, the larger conversation at this point is more important to me. The politics, if you look at all of the issues going on in the world, you've got the political industrial complex. Frank Zappa called it the entertainment wing of the military industrial complex. I think that is the best description I've ever heard, because it's entertaining. Oh, this is going to be Trump. What's going to happen to Trump? Is he going to be okay? Is he going to be indicted again for the 11th time? And what's going to happen after that? It's a soap opera, right? Meanwhile, the country is burning and inflation is out of control. And interest rates are through the roof, and gas prices are still ridiculous, and they've been that way for a couple of years. That's conditioning, so you get used to $3.50 a gallon, so you don't miss $1.95 a gallon, right? And people are like, yeah, it's cool. We'll plug our electric vehicles into a solar panel. Yeah, good luck with that. And, there's not enough of that stuff, for instance, to just power everything. Maybe someday, but technology still isn't where it needs to be. Point is, things were good, say, back in 2018, 2019. I give Trump some of the credit for that, obviously. But, I would rather talk about how we're going to get out of this, like what we're going to do. And when it comes to these safe and effective products that we were, and those in the music community are complicit with this because everybody got on the same page. There are like 2 or 3 people, like Eric Clapton, Travis Tritt. There's a couple more, and I can't think of who they are right now, who are saying, you know what? Nope. Not going to do it. Aaron Lewis, I think, was another guy who was saying reasonable things. But everybody else, Jolyn Turner, obviously. Forgot about Joe. Joe is definitely, and Ted Nugent. So there are a few. But, and they're very vocal, and they know how to express themselves, but a lot of times the media just runs right over them and does cut and paste. And they'll have like 14 articles or 14 paragraphs, pasted from other articles debunking or refuting what they're saying. And so-called experts. Ooh, I love so-called experts, So I think, honestly, I'm interested in that stuff. I'm interested in talking more about what's going on in the world. And there is no immediate political solution. I get into arguments with people. Trump is going to save the world. Okay, he should have saved it in 2016, 2017. Should have saved it then. All right, maybe he'll save it, but I have a lot of doubts about that. Again, when people start to elevate a person or a politician to a place that I think is sacrilegious, I'll use that word, then the spidey senses go off, and I'm like, you know what? I already have a savior, okay? I already know who God is. I don't need another guy who's pretending that he's God or thinking that he can solve problems and that he's infallible when he says stuff, even though he changes his views on topics, and then you call him out on it, or call the people out and say, well, what about what he said 2 years ago compared to this? Or how come he didn't fire Dr. Fauci? That's a good one. And people go, you just need to trust the plan, man. Trust. Like, okay. There is a plan. It's called the Holy Bible. Go and read it. That's the ultimate plan. All other plans pale in comparison to that. And see, this is what I would rather talk about. I'd rather talk about real meat and potato issues. Now, if something happens in the music world that is interesting, and it tends to be stuff like someone dies, someone gets mad at someone in a band, some band can't perform anymore because they really suck, okay? And there's a lot of that going on, and there are a lot of people in denial on that one. You say, hey, I watched the video from the county fair with the blue-haired ladies that were seated in these lawn chairs that looked like they might fall over, and I watched the performance. And by the way, that's pathetic. It's just not what I envisioned, It's just, you go to a concert as like a teenager or a young adult, and you're tailgating and you're having a good time. Okay, this goes to what Grace Slick says when she was complaining that rock and roll was not for old people. She's like, this really isn't for old people. Now, there are exceptions to that. There are certain performers of a vintage that go out there and put on an amazing show, and it's not embarrassing, and there aren't plastic lawn chairs on the, at the county fair where you line them up. If you're doing that, if you're seeing shows like that, think about it, okay? At least try to go and see something that is good enough to be in a venue right? Where even if ticket prices are kind of high, they might be high because the talent is good or they're putting on a good performance. You get to the point where you go into the county fair and this person is the last guy left from a band from 40 or 50 years ago. I'm almost guaranteeing you that that show isn't going to be that great. I'm pretty much guaranteeing you. And here's the thing: we lower our expectations. Maybe like, yeah, I didn't expect it to sound like it did back in 1983. I mean, that would be kind of dumb. Okay, that's fine. But then, if it doesn't even remotely sound like that band or that person, then you really have to think to yourself, what should I do? Well, you can go listen to your old music, which you probably should, or there are these bands out there who are doing tributes to everything. Tribute band here. I don't want to go see a tribute band. That's going to be the future. It's the same thing happened with classical music, right? The original composers gone, right? Same thing with jazz too. Jazz, classical, all of that stuff. So then you have a trio or a quartet or whatever, an orchestra that will perform the music of that particular artist. And they'll do a great job duplicating or replicating that music. And you go home happy. Yeah, the music of Foreigner. I'm going to go see Hot Blooded. They're a band from Northeast Ohio. They sound better than Lou Gramm. They sound better than Kelly Hansen. And they're probably, I don't know, 1/3 the ticket price. And if you enjoy those songs and you want to hear them live and you don't want to break the bank, that's the future, right? And I don't know, talking about tribute bands, again, nobody's going to watch your videos if you're talking about tribute bands all the time. I've done it because I think it's the future. It's like the future. Actually, it's now. It's not just the future. I mean, with ticket prices, and again, if whatever band still goes out there and they kind of sound good, then that's going to last maybe for another few years. But after that, you know, you're really looking at other human beings who are going to listen to those records, find people who can replicate that sound, and then they're going to go out there and they're going to make money because people love that music. So, in any event, people, this all points to my content maybe shifting a bit. Now, I have this name ID problem because it's real music. It's not real politics. It's not, real cultural. It's not real media. But all of those things are important. So they're all going to fall under the umbrella of what I want to do on this channel. And people are going to have to deal with it. Because I'm not renaming the channel. I'm not rebranding the channel. I could start another channel, but that's always risky. The bottom line is this is a channel that will feature music content, political content, cultural content, religious stuff, or anything that's related to those things, which is pretty much everything, right? I don't think I'm going to be talking archaeology or zoology, all right? Just probably not going to be on my radar, but you never know. You never know. So yeah, I just wanted to give people an update on where I'm at. And look, I have to do stuff that people actually want to watch. The video about the 20-year-old girl, that was important to a lot of people. It was important to me. And I didn't do it because I was thinking, hey, this is going to do well. But I did it because I think people need to know about it. Because I've done other videos about medical issues involving rock stars and random people. I think I did one on a football player, or at least mentioned it. And, a few people watched it. They were interested, but it wasn't like the greatest view count I've ever had. And I understand. I am just talking. I am ad-libbing. I am introducing a song for 10, 20 minutes. And people are like, could you please play the song now? I'm getting tired. I don't have the attention span for this. And hey, I get that. But if you've got a few minutes to sit down and listen or watch, I appreciate that. Moving forward, the content will be slightly more diverse and unpredictable. I mean, if I find a story that I think is interesting and people in my old age demographic that they're kind of like done with a certain topic and they would rather hear me talk about something else. I think people are clearly tired of me talking about the band Journey, right? I'm not going to add anything new to the Journey conversation, even though, yeah, I know things about Journey that I can't talk about because they've told me you can't say these things, so I'm not going to share those things. I don't want to betray the trust of these people who at least communicate with me every so often. So that's important to me. And quite honestly, none of it, is even close to what is going on in the world right now. None of the salacious controversies with any of these older bands even is remotely close to what happened to us in 2020 and 2021. And the political season, which is coming and is already here, and you'll probably see a lot of political advertising. If you do, please watch the ads and then tell me what you've seen. First of all, you got to watch the ads to help me here. But I'm interested. I'm interested in what type of political advertising is going to be dominating the airwaves in the upcoming months. So anyway, folks, I've rambled way too long. I'll give this to you one more time. This is Zelbo, In My Dreams. Really great. I don't know if I've opened this up, but here they are again. Swedish band, of course. I think they're Swedish. I'm pretty sure. A lot of great music in Sweden. That's where to go if you want to hear a melodic rock band on a Friday night and they're not playing the same old stuff. That would have been next generation for us here in the United States. But you know what? It's too late. It's too late. So all we can do is share what we find and scour the world for the best music possible, at least the kind of music that I like to listen to. And thanks for watching. God bless you. God bless the world. And again, like I always like to say, God save the world. See you soon.